Hafade, Taro, good afternoon, everyone present here today, and to the viewing public. I now call this committee meeting to order. It is now 2:10 p.m., and I will recognize the legislative assistant for the roll call.
Representative Patrick St. Nicholas. Representative Raymond Palacios.
Present.
Representative Malcolm Omar. Representative Angelo Komatsu. Representative Blas Jonathan B.J. Atao.
Present.
Representative Daniel Aquino. Representative Roy Adda.
Present.
Representative Julie Ogo.
Present.
And Representative Thomas John Manglonia.
Present.
Mr. Chairman, we have 5 members present and 4 absent.
Okay, with 5 members present, I hereby establish a quorum to conduct today's meeting. Before we proceed, I would like to acknowledge the members who are present today but are not a part of this committee. Representative Vincent Aldan, thank you for joining us. I would also like to recognize and express my appreciation for our supporting staff, our legislative assistant, Nick Rabalaman, legal counsel, Carrie Comstock, IT support, Jonathan Diaz, Youth Congress Coordinator, LJ Castro, and our Sergeant at Arms, Will Uggan. Thank you all for your continued support and assistance to this committee. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? The motion has been offered and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, please say aye. All who oppose say nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Today's agenda is hereby adopted. Next item on the agenda is public comments. We will open the floor for public comments. Are there any members of the public who wish to give their public comment on any item on today's agenda? If so, please state your name and the agency you represent before addressing this committee for the record. And being that there is none, without further ado, under old business, we have Senate Bill 24-22, entitled to establish mandatory presentation of valid personal photo identification for any debit card or credit card transaction made in person, and any check, cash exchange, or purchase for all business establishments in the Commonwealth. Are there any proposed amendments to Senate Bill 24-22? Recognize Representative Atta.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, colleagues, and everyone present today, and to the viewing public. I don't have an amendment to the legislation, Mr. Chairman, or I'm not against the intent of the legislation at all, but I know that this legislation is a recycled bill, and it's been filed multiple times over the last couple of legislatures, and I was wondering if the LA can pull out those documents that for the reasons of the filing of these legislation. They came from the banking institutions, and if I remember correctly, some of the recommendations was that they already have those in place. With this legislation, it just puts another a block, which is a good intent. No, the author, Senator Cruz, has introduced this legislation multiple times, but those information that we got over the years for this specific legislation were the reasons why it never really made it out of the House. And we got a lot of comments over the years for this specific legislation, so maybe that's something that maybe the LA can provide to us, so that the members can understand why it never made it out of committee. Like I said, the intent is great. It's just that these comments are coming from institutions themselves that say that there's no need for this type of legislation. But again, I'm not against the legislation itself, but if we can get some of those historical data or historical comments, so that we, as members of the Commerce Committee, can deliberate on those comments and see if those we can bypass the comments and go ahead and support the legislation to be sent to the full body for action. But I want to make sure that the members are well informed as to why this legislation really never made it out of committee over those years that it's been introduced. I guess I can remember at least 5 times seeing this legislation, so maybe something like that. Nick, if that's possible, and I thank you for the time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Atto. Recognize Representative Ada.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I completely agree with Rep. BJ Atto. I think that it'll be very good for us to obtain those information so that we can assess the information and make a competent decision on this matter. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Rep. Ada. Anyone else? So maybe we can table this for now. We can give our LAs a little bit of time to bring up that data, and then we can move forward on our next meeting. I personally don't really have an issue with it, and I do see the intent, right? I think Senator Cruz's intention was to kind of protect our Manomku from, any sort of fraud or, things of that nature. I know it could be a hassle at times, right? Sometimes, you send your kids to the store or, your relatives, and, sometimes their grandparents can't walk, or, there's things like that. But I think one of the things that was brought up was maybe having some sort of, at least a letter or power of attorney, something like that, where it could prevent any sort of fraud or theft, right? So I do agree with the intent of the legislation. I think it's, I know the business community was kind of against it, the chamber, because obviously it adds an extra burden to the businesses. But I think in the spirit of providing protection, I think it's something that could prevent a lot of these cases. But I do agree. Maybe we should look at the data and see why these things weren't. This legislation hasn't passed in the previous legislatures, and we can go ahead and table this for now. So, can I get a motion to table Senate Bill 24-22 to our next meeting? Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. All who oppose, say nay. And Senate Bill 24-22 has been tabled to our next committee meeting. Thank you. Okay, now we move on to House Bill number 24-59, entitled to enact the CNMI Fair Billing Practices Act to establish clear and fair standards for back billing practices in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands to protect consumers while allowing service providers to recover unpaid amounts lawfully due and for other purposes. And I do have an amendment that was proposed by the author that I did distribute to the members. If you had time to just quickly look through that, and if you guys had any concerns, we do have the author of the bill, Representative Vincent Andon, here to answer any questions. And maybe I could also open up the floor for you, Representative Andon, to kind of explain some of the amendments that were made to the previous legislation. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Recognize Representative Ada.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could you just expand on your proposed legislation, please? Thank you.
So the intent of this bill is to, get the CNMI government, along with everybody, all businesses, to start abiding by abiding with the fair billing legislation that is not only here, but it's also in the federal government, where you cannot be surprising, your customers or clients a bill that was supposed to be sent out. Like, let's say, for example, that if you receive service today, that they're supposed to give you the billing now, or, in a couple of days, not a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, And the reason why you don't want to do that is because these businesses and the government would always tend to want to add interest to that. And then it becomes a surprise to the person that's receiving the bill that I have no idea what this bill is. That was like 3 years ago. I didn't even think about it. But then when the government start doing their actual job and start auditing correctly, next thing you know, the person that has been sent that bill is unaware and was never given the chance to pay the actual bill. Instead, they just get slapped with the bill plus interest and penalties added to it, unbeknownst to the person that's getting billed. And a notorious one for that is CUC and the hospital. But this includes everyone, all business and all government agencies. But yet, at the same time, the people can't charge interest to the government. So if the government owes you tax on your tax return, you cannot charge them interest on that delay. How many times have CUC supposed to pay, return the security deposit of ratepayers, and the law says with interest that deposit was made, but the interest was never paid. Only the principal, and that was it. So where did all these interests come from, or where did it all go? So CUC has this ability to charge interest, but yet when it's time to pay back, nothing. So we did make some amendments to this, and we made it extremely fair, and just to make the public understand that, just because this bill was created and designed to protect them, it doesn't mean that you have the ability to abuse either, because there is a loophole that we covered to make sure that the public is not exploiting such a loophole. So that loophole is covered. So businesses doesn't have to worry about somebody like purposefully dodging the bill or the mail, right, that would give them that bill. So long as the company are doing their due diligence, right, and informing whoever it is that owes that they need to pay, then pay. Other than that, this bill's, so to the viewing public, this bill is designed to take care of you. All the times that we've dealt with CUC and the government write-offs and all of that was taking care of the government. Now it's your turn. And that's what this bill was, created for, is to give the people the ability to also breathe. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Adnan. Anyone else like to comment? Recognize Representative Ato.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Chairman Aldon, for your explanation on the legislation. I know that the Council, Joe Tyrone, worked on this, and I'm not sure if our council have you reviewed the amendment? Did Joe talk to you regarding this legislation? I'm just wondering because I know that a lot of these amendments came from CUC and CHCC, right? And I'm glad that the amendments that were made also address CEDA's concerns and I believe commerce in regards to restaurants and grocery stores and all of those private businesses. The legislation when they made the amendments, Chairman, was it inclusive of CUC's council or more so, I guess, with CHCC because of I noticed that they're talking about the 12-month period for CHCC, except for the initial transfer of new program systems. No, that's 24 months. And then right after that, it'll go back to 12 months. So any future upgrade in their systems would open up a 24-month period and then go back after completion, correct?
Right.
And this is the same for, no, it's not the same for CUC, right? CUC is still within the 6 months, right? I think CUC is 6 months, if I'm not mistaken.
4 months.
4 months? 6 months, right? I think I remember reading 6 months. And then I really don't have any. If it addressed the concerns of the hospital, because I understand that they're the most affected in this because of the insurance portion, right?
We did
And-
give them everything that they asked for,
Okay.
and they agreed with once they complete their transition under the software billing,
Yes.
then they'll revert to the 12 months.
Okay, so that's great, and with that, Mr. Chairman, I support the legislation as amended. I think we first need to make a motion on this amendment before we adopt the amendment for reporting. But just a recommendation that we also fix the line numbering so it's easier to follow for the members once we get it to the floor for the full body to vote on the legislation itself.
And we did include all the things that CETA wanted. You know, we did
Sure,
include
sure.
it as well.
You okay, Representative Ato?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I yield my time if there's nobody that's gonna make a motion or if there's no other comments, Mr. Chairman. I respectfully move to adopt House Bill 24-59 in the HD1. If there's no further discussion, because we are reviewing draft one, right? Thank you again, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Ato.
Didn't you just make the motion? I second.
Okay, so the motion has been made to adopt House Bill 24-59 HD1. Sorry, quick recess. Okay, a motion has been made to adopt House Bill 24-59 HD1. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, please say aye. All who oppose, say nay. Ayes have it. The motion has been made. Now we're back to the main motion, discussing House Bill 24-59, House Draft 1. Any discussion on that motion?
Ready.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All who oppose, say nay. The ayes have it. It is hereby adopted. I now direct the legislative assistant to prepare the House Standing Committee report on House Bill 24-59 HD1 to submit to the whole body with the committee's recommendation for passage. Thank you, colleagues. Moving on to item number 6 on our agenda. Any announcements? Any discussion? Being that there is none, the last item on our agenda, can I get a motion for adjournment? The motion has been made and been seconded. All in favor, please say aye. All who oppose, say nay. Ayes have it. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.
We weren't gonna address the communication.